Hey everybody, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back. This is my free-to-play account. We're gonna do some more Adamantite ore challenges. 57 days play, still no money added, it's never gonna happen, but just to let you guys know. So we're gonna do the Adamantite ore challenge for the Starlight. Now as you can see on my screen, I didn't fully complete this yet because I didn't need to. Once I upgraded my Divine Rose and my Olympia, I was basically set. I use Olympia and Divine Rose for every single quest, so before we start this, I just want to give that quick tip to everyone. Save your Adamantite ores, do part 1 and 2 of all the Adamantite ores, and then upgrade your Starlight. Not your Starlight. Upgrade your Olympia and upgrade your Divine Rose. And those 2 Keyblades will take care of everything else, like I'll show in this whole series. So we're not going to do 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 is exactly the same. Whatever you use in 3, 4, and 5 will be used in 1 and 2. Maybe just a little more adjusted and not so many activations, because you can basically in part 1 and 2 activate your buff and just swipe and you should be fine. So let's get into this. This is Starlight part 3. Okay, let me quickly explain what my Keyblade is and what's the most important thing to have on your Keyblade to actually do these. The main thing for any Adamantite ore challenge is your ×3 buffer. You need to have ×3 strength on your Keyblade or you're not going to be able to do this. Every enemy has a very high defense the higher you go. The more defense, the more strength, natural strength your medals need to do. And that's where your ×3 buffer is so important. You can attribute buff and you can reduce their attribute buff or their defense attribute. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a ×3 buffer, you're missing out on a lot of damage. So most importantly, get a ×3 buffer. You can do this multiple ways. You can use a solid ×3 buffer like Ariel and Floundered, Illustrated Kyrie, or Sebastian. If you're watching this video now, Sebastian was just part of a high score challenge, and now we can buy an avatar board that has SP Gauge 2 on it. Put that SP Gauge 2 on your Sebastian, and you will have a ×3 buffer for 2 gauges. So whatever you do, make sure you get ×3 buff. Let that be 3 VVs, 3 Christmas Soras, a Piglet, and a VV, or just a solid ×3 buffer. Make sure that's on there. Most important parts. Second is your AoE medals. For a lot of these Adamantite ore challenges, there's a lot of groups with multiple enemies. And one of the best medals we got in the game was Moana and Maui. Those 2 medals are amazing. Not only do they ×3 buff their AoE, and they do decent enough damage to give you enough to get through the level. And if you're wondering where to put your APPs on, I would recommend Moana and Maui because they're going to be on 2 of your Keyblades, possibly 3 of them, all the time. You want a ×3 buffer. It doesn't have to buff all your medals, as long as it buffs your medal that your main damage dealer, which is my Donald. As you guys see, this is all event medals. I'm not using anything from polls. So if you're watching this later on and you don't have any of these medals, look at this. This whole Keyblade right here was acquired very easily, except for the Ariel and Flounder. It was top 5,000. But like I said, you can use Sebastian with a SP Gauge 2. But everything here was given for free, except for the Leon. But Leon is just there because it has poison, just in case an enemy isn't. Let's say you don't have enough damage, and you know that when you try the level again, just put poison on that enemy, the one that didn't get wiped out by all your AoE. But besides that, everything else here is event medals. Even the friend medal I'm going to use is going to be an event medal. So if you are playing this later, if I got these event medals now, imagine what you guys have. They're giving tier 3s that do so much damage, and it's not hard to get these at all. So this is what you basically want. You want a ×3 buffer, and then you want some sort of other buffs or debuffs. So you want to make sure the enemy's defense is going down or your medals getting more tribute buffs. World of Final Fantasy medals, Jack and Sally's, Moana, Maui, so on and so on. You got other medals like Cogsworth, Lumineer, a whole bunch of medals. There's every medal that says raises whatever you need to raise, put that on there. Then you want your main damage dealer, which in this case is my classic Donald. Larxene B would be, but it's not guilted, but a 3.6 multiplier is more than enough damage. So enough talking about the Keyblade. That's the general idea. You want to make your one medal strong, or just make sure that your AoE medals are doing the most damage possible. We're going to show more of that when we get in there. Now, if your party has medals like this, World of Final Fantasy medals that are boosted and guilted, then just use them. Use them as a friend medal for basically everything, and you guys are going to be able to do story, raid bosses, Adamantite ores, everything. But we're going to use only event medals for this because I'm aiming towards free-to-play players, and I want to show that what the game gives you is good enough to do all this. So for this one, we want to go by, since it's a Starlight, there's 3 attributes. what you want to do is look at the majority of enemies and be like, okay, I'm going to use this the most. In this case, it doesn't really matter because the ×3 buffer, you want to make sure that bomb right there though. You want to make sure you do enough hits. But a ×3 buffer and another AoE medal is more than enough to wipe all this out. Your main concern in this, I'm not going to use Moana here because it's overkill. My friend medal is 2 SP instead of my Moana's 3 SP. So we're not going to use Moana even though she would wipe out the whole group. Now my big concern here is that bomb down there. I had to do multiple hits to it. You can do that in many ways. Medals that say do definite damage, like it's a fixed amount of damage. If you guys know the classic Mickey, he's one of those medals. So if you have medals like that, you can take out the bomb in one hit. Even your Nova, if you activate Nova, Nova will kill the bomb in one hit as well. But the whole point of this is have a medal that has multiple hits for that bomb, and then make sure you have a ×3 buffer and your friend medal. So honestly, this whole Keyblade could be empty, except for my ×3 buffer, a multiple hit medal to get rid of that bomb, and then your friend medal. So 1, 2, 3 medals, that's more than enough. Everything else is there is just in case let's say you don't have a ×3 buffer. Then you want to add more medals. But basically right here, ×3 buff. I'm not going to go for anything here. Let me go for like just tapping. I'm not going to use AoE here. Okay, that wiped that guy out. But what I'm trying to get here is that your ×3 buffer and your friend medal is more than enough to do part 3 of any Adamantite ore challenge. It's going to do so much damage, as you guys can see right here. 53,000 damage to the opposite attribute. Perfect. So we're going to continue. There's lots of SP chests. As you can see, there was one down here and one up here, so you don't have to worry about having APP on your Keyblade yet. It's part 4 and 5 is where you need APP. So for the last part, this is the tricky part. This is where you do need a little bit more, but like I said right here, watch that bomb down there. Activating Nova, boom. That bomb is gone. You see? Perfect. Now the whole point I talked about having a medal with poison, which is my Leon. Leon has poison on it. The reason I say that is you can see this cannon right here. He's got buffs on him. Those buffs basically mean your medals are going to do less damage to it unless you can get rid of the buffs or do the most damage to that one enemy. So we're going to try to activate poison on it. If it doesn't go off, reset it, get back in, if that's the only way you're going to win. If not, if your AoE medals and your friend medals and your ×3 buffers are more than enough, then just ignore the poison. The poison is there for people who don't have that much power. So what we can do here is guarantee that this guy will get taken out. So we're going to ignore the wizard. We're not going to do a swipe. We're just going to make sure that since he has all the buffs, do the most damage to that one guy. You want to make sure he's out, but make sure you have enough damage to take care of all the other enemies. I can't really show that here because all these event medals are super strong and they're just taking out everything. But the whole concern is if there's one enemy that's really giving you trouble, poison, or have one medal focus on that and all the other medals focus on the rest of the group. So that's part 3. Let's jump into part 4. So far this is not that bad. Honestly, when I started out without these event medals and without knowing what I was actually doing and what I needed, it was very, very hard. Now that I have the knowledge, I can basically make any Keyblade setup and just go at it. So here's part 4. Part 4, you want to be more, I would say, conservative of what you're activating. Like, you're not going to activate Moana in every group, and you're not going to activate your friend medal in every group. I'm going to show why. Let me just go restore my SP, because 14 out of 19 is not going to cut it. And that's another reason why I say Divine Rose over 3 Wishes, Treasure Trove, and Lady Luck, because they only have 16 SP, where Divine Rose and Olympia has 19 SP. That's why I upgrade these Keyblades first, because not only is their multiplier slots really high, 2.6 and a 2.7, you also have 19 SP. But I'll be right back once I get more SP. Alright, so we're using the same Keyblade setup. We're back. I have 19 out of 19 SP. Same setup as basically I've been showing you in all these videos. Event medals, but just using them properly and what you really need to know. So in this group right here, this is where part 4 and 5 is really important, especially on Olympia, Starlight, all those multiple color Adamantite ore challenges, is that there's going to be different color enemies in each group. Now in this group, we have the colors of power and magic. So what we can do here is just focus on our magic medal. So we don't need to activate our friend medal here, since our friend medal is going to be used for the other groups. What you want to do is your ×3 buffer. In my case, Arrow and Flounder is magic, so it does a little bit more damage. If there was an enemy here you knew was going to cause you trouble, you would activate poison on them. But since we know nothing here is going to cause us trouble, we're going to swipe. Now our Moana is our AoE medal. You guys might not have Moana, but But as long as you have an AoE metal that's going to hit all of them, where my Leon was poison, put a Cogsworth there, just so it will buff your magic dealers. So we're going to activate Moana here. Hopefully attack boost 2 and APP goes off. It doesn't, it's okay. And since Moana gave us a ×3 buff and we have a ×3 buff strength, our Donald swipe is actually going to take out most of these. Look at all that HP. Boom. Done, guys. Very simple. Just make sure you have a ×3 buffer and a way to buff your medals or debuff the enemy's defense. And it's that simple. So let's go into the next group. Next group has magic and speed. So now activating our Moana is not the most efficient way to do this. So we want our ×3 buffer, and we know that we're going to have the hardest time with the speed enemy, which in this case is that dark side right there. Or it might be called something else, but anyways. So what we want to do is activate a poison on it. If it doesn't go off, then we know we have to focus on doing damage to it because our friend metal is not going to be able to take that out. Now the concern here is that our SP is very important. There's no treasure chest around here to restore SP, so we're not going to activate Moana. We're going to swipe. APP does go off, but even if it doesn't, you're okay. So what you want to do here to make sure that you're going to take out that enemy right there. It's an invisible. That's what it's called. You want to swipe and activate whatever your metal is. If your metal was Donald, was your main damage dealer, then do more damage to the visible with the Donald. But I don't think I need that much. I'm going to activate Larkstein B here just to take down his HP to around 20 to 25,000. So my friend metal will do enough damage. Because we know that Marluxia B is speed, and against magic, we're doing 48,000. But speed versus speed is going to do 10,000 less than that or something. It's going to do half an HP bar or whole HP bar less because it's neutral damage. So we got that taken care of. We're being very careful with our SP. We could have just went Aerial Flounder, Moana, and then our friend metal, but our SP would be really bad. But look at that, we're in a good place because of SP, because of APP as well. But even if APP didn't go off, we'd still be in a good place. Now here's the tricky part about this. That cannon has a defense boost, and that's the issue. And also, they're all 3 different colors, so we need to go all out here. And that's why it's really important to make sure their SP is being used wisely on the first 2 groups. So we want to activate poison on that cannon. If it doesn't go off, don't worry. Hopefully attack boost 2 goes off here. That does enough damage that we don't have to worry about the other enemies. Now we can focus on that cannon. And since we're full of SP, let's activate Donald. Even though it's an opposite attribute, Donald's on a very good multiplier. And he's also boosted and has chips and attack boost 2. All that good stuff, so we know we can take that out. Tap that, and we're done, guys. That is how easy these Adamantite ore challenges are. If you know what you're doing, you can complete them without a problem. The medals will come eventually. Do not worry about that. These were all event medals, very easy to obtain, and Aerial Flounder is replaceable. So we're going to finish off here. Just go all out, guys. Activate all your buffs, activate all your AoE medals, whatever SP lets you do, just go crazy with it and end it. There you go, guys. I don't have to activate the friend medal. More than enough damage on my Keyblade. Like I said, most likely you guys will have to rely on that friend medal, but at the same time, it's the most important thing about this is having enough SP. So that's part 4. We're gonna go into part 5. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have just saved it because now I have to go restore SP. But oh well, I just wanted to go all out and show you guys. So I'm going to come right back once I restore SP to do the last quest right here. And this is all single targets, so you can have a better friend medal for this. We're going to explain that once I come back. Alright, so we're back. We got 19 out of 19 SP. We want all the SP we can get because that's what's most important about these levels. But also, part 5 has all single target enemies. So we no longer need Marluxia B because he is AoE, and you can tell by this symbol right here. You see the little swirly lines around it? That means AoE. So what we want to do is look for a single target hitter. So any medal that you see in your party that has 100% guild or whatever is the highest strength, all combined, guilted and attack boost, use that medal. But we're going to use event medals here because everybody should have most of these event medals. So we can use Donald. Now the only downfall to using Donald is that my Keyblade is very specific on only using magic. So when we face a speed enemy, we're going to have an issue. But at the same time, since my medal on my Keyblade are all magic, I'm going to have an easy time facing all the magic enemies in there, and I'm going to have an easy time facing all the power enemies in there. Now, what am I going to have trouble with? I'm going to have trouble with speed, because nothing on my Keyblade is going to have a good time with speed. If this was gilted, then that's a different story. But since our main damage dealer is magic, I want to grab a friend metal that's power to deal with the speed enemy. That's only because this is Starlight and they have all 3 attributes in this level. So let's go look for a Meowjesty. Here's a Meowjesty. It has Chip, Dales, 100% gilted, and attack boost 3. You guys might have a different friend metal, but the whole point is look for its multiplier. The higher the multiplier and gilted, the more damage it's going to do. So we're going to use this one. Once again, this was an event medal. It's not from polls. Everything was easy to obtain. Now here's where we had to talk about it. This enemy over here is speed, this one's power, and the last one is magic. Now what I was talking about, ooh, they actually have an SP chest. Awesome. So that's a good thing. Is there any more around? No. Okay. I didn't even know they had an SP chest there. So we have 6 SP. The way you can tell, if you look at the chest, it's very decorated. There's triangles on the side, triangles in the front, and there's extra lines everywhere. That means there's 6 SP in there. Other chests that are plain has 1 SP, and then the other one has 3 SP that has a couple triangles. But that's a big chest, it's 6 XP. So what we want to do, let's say you don't have APP, but you know you're going to have a hard time on one enemy. And in our case, we know that our medals are not designed to face the speed enemy. All these enemies have a buff on them, so you need to do some good damage, means you're going to be activating multiple medals. Now, here's where the poison medal comes into play. This medal right here has poison. You're not going to activate it, you're going to tap it, and hopefully poison goes off. If it goes off, then you're good. If it not, just reset and come back in. That's why you go for the enemy you have the most trouble with, just so your poison will go off. So, go in, if it doesn't work, turn off the app, turn it back on, and try it again. So now that we know that we have to do the most damage possible, because we have no way of taking away this buff, because we don't have Alice or Belle, I'm just making suggestions here. This means we have to go all out with this guy. So we are going to activate our Moana, and we are going to activate Donald. Now let's say I'm doing this because I don't think my friend metal is strong enough, which Meowjesty is more than enough to take this out. But the whole point of this is that poison would be on there. You would activate your Larkstein B, and hopefully attack boost 2 goes off, and then your friend metal can do the rest. Now that takes away a lot, and also poison. Let's say poison went off and attack boost 2 went off. This guy would have been taken out without a problem, guys. You can go all out on that guy if you need to. Come over here, restore your SP for 6, and then continue. Now if you have a medal on your Keyblade that has APP on it, that is totally fine. You're going to see now, since our medals that are strongest is magic, we can go crazy now. We can go crazy. We can activate Moana here, and then we can activate Donald, and we don't even need a friend medal. So friend medal is no longer needed. We have enough SP to take out everything, and that's it, guys. That is the whole thing. Attack enemies properly, make sure you're using the right buffs, and make sure you're using the right friend medals. And that's what Adamantite ore challenges are. It's just using proper Keyblade setups. So we saved Noble for the last guy, just in case. There's going to be some scenarios where we're not going to do that. But magic on magic, as you guys can see right here, is more than enough. If attack boost 3 went off on this, or attack boost 2 in my case, he would have been done. Here we go. It's all over, guys. No friend medal needed except for that first enemy. So you didn't have to go all out like I did. You could have done your ×3 buffer, and then your Donald, and then the Meowjesty, and that would have been more than enough. And if it wasn't, poison should be fine. So that's the whole thing. That's part 3, 4, and 5. Like I said, part 1 and 2 is a lot easier. So don't worry, use the same kind of idea that I showed you here, or the same medals, and you'll have no problem. Hopefully this helps you out. If it does, you are a boss. You're now completed all of Starlight, and we're getting that much closer to the MoG Glory, which is coming up tomorrow, I think. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be posting MoG Glory. Hopefully you guys got enough Adamantite ore challenge done, and you got enough Adamantite ores to upgrade your Starlight. Not your Starlight, I don't know why I keep saying that. Upgrade your Divine Rose and upgrade your Olympia to level 25. Because MoG Glory is going to need that 19 SP and those huge multipliers on there. I'll explain it tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.